Hello, we are Smith,
And Thell.
and we're hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
You guys have already, released a debut record last year. So now that you guys are writing, where do you guys feel you guys are as artists today, as far as the writing goes? What are the thoughts behind the writing process?
So we're going to release an EP now before we go on our first Swedish headline tour.
Right.
And so it's going to be 4 songs, and they're all about long distance relationships with different people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's called. Can we say what it's called? Okay, it's called Telephone Wires.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's about. It was one specific thing
Yeah.
about you had a relationship.
Yeah.
You can explain about it.
Yeah. We was actually last time we were here, we drove up into the hills, and then we saw all these telephone wires. They were swirling down the hill, and we saw it was connected to all the houses.
Right.
And then I thought about this specific person that we're so connected, but we don't talk. We don't know how to talk.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's about relationships with different people.
Right.
We are connected, but we can't speak to each other for some reason,
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way of putting it. So, what's it like when you guys get together and write? How do you guys kind of write your music?
Usually, we don't write in the studio. We usually write when we're at the grocery shop or something. Like everywhere that's not a studio place.
Right.
Because sometimes it can feel a little bit forced. Now we're in the studio, we need to write something. But I think the best ideas just come when you least expect it.
Right.
So I think the process is always about finding some good lyric or a situation we've been through or
Right.
Many times we start with the lyrics actually.
Yeah.
I think it's because if the lyrics isn't great, I don't think that the song could be great.
Right.
Yeah.
something golden and then build something out of it.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Now, it's been a year since the record has been out. So, how do you feel that the writing process or your style in writing has kind of evolved within this last year?
We've been experimenting a lot more, not being scared, taking in electronical samples, because that's something that's a little bit forbidden, in the folk and Americana world.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're we don't want to have any any limits. So we've been
We want to try stuff, we want
stuff.
Yeah.
we want to experiment,
Yeah.
So we've been playing around with samples and just just looping stuff and just trying to find something that's unique and that still sounds organic,
Yeah. There's still a lot of live instruments and
Of course, yeah.
That sounds like kind of a challenge to still be able to make it sound like a folk record.
Yeah.
What kind of challenges have you guys been running into as you guys are trying to create this new sound?
I think the challenge has been to. I think we've been writing so many songs and producing out so many songs, but also the challenge has been what is the way? Where is the So cause we've been trying stuff. We started out when we started to write the EP. We started out. We did that in Germany, in Berlin. We rented a house and just went there for this thing, and we just wrote 10 songs. It ended up not using one song we used from that, but so we just threw a lot of songs because we were trying so much and just finding what is the direction, So that's been the challenge, to find it, Yeah.
We're never gonna make an album 2 times.
Yeah,
It's
Right.
Even if I know that some people they would be happy if it sounded more and more the same, but
you want to feel like you grew in a way.
yeah, I think all our albums for the rest of our lives, they're gonna sound they're gonna have their own little place, and then
Now, what kind of inspired this kind of electronic sound, mixing it with folk? Is it, I know you produce for a lot of electronic artists as well. Is that what kind of triggered it for you guys to try this, or is that something you guys kind of wanted?
I actually think it's only because that we do so much different stuff that we don't want to close in to do one stuff. We're oh, but what would happen if we took this thing and just added on our stuff, because I think we want to keep ourselves inspired, and I think the way to do that is just try a lot of stuff,
yeah, the best thing in the world is just to go to the studio or just like sit at home and just experiment with sounds.
Right.
That's what drives us. So we have to apply that to our own music as well, and not just play like guitar.
Right. What's the most interesting instrument that you guys have used so far in the studio for this upcoming project?
You have one.
I think it's more like there's an. I was like, yeah. We have one. It's like a prison choir that we have chopped up.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
But that's not an instrument.
No, that's not it.
But
But
you
then
have
it's the pitched up.
She created an instrument out of it. Like,
Oh, yeah. Vocals are an instrument.
Yeah, it is. Though.
Yeah, and then it's
The one you did with Peter, you know, the
What?
instrument you play with in Peter's session. What was that?
oh, that's something. There's only like 20. I don't know what it's called.
It was such a weird instrument. We don't know about it, but if we find it, he will put out the picture here now for it.
But then I think it's. I really love one of the guitars that we have on the new song that we're releasing, and it's like pitched up a lot of steps, and it's like messed up.
Yeah.
We're just
cool.
We've been
It's like
crushing the guitar.
Yeah, it was like an acoustic guitar, and it sounded so bad from the start. So we were like, "What should we do with this?" Like, we just pitch it up like 12, so it's like it sounds super weird, but it's cool.
Yeah.
interesting. So is that like the guitar? Is that like a majority of the song, or is it bits of the song that you guys are using?
Majority.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Now, you know, when you guys are trying these new instruments, does that kind of change the mentality on how you're writing your music?
We.
Especially because vocals, I mean, the guitar is a little higher in the pitch, so you
Yeah.
might want to do a higher range of vocals, or, you know, vice versa.
Yeah, this specific song, it turned out being like very fast vocals that stopped like in the middle because the guitar was kind of stopping and then like the vocals stopped. So yeah,
It's a
you
bit-
kind of went with the.
It has a little bit like a rap groove in a way.
But it's melodies.
Yes, it's melodies, but it's still like it's.
What is this song?
It sounds so weird when you explain it. But it's very fast vocals.
Yeah.
It's not a rap. I was like making that clear. But like it's like yeah, just fast vocals like Ed Sheeran did on Shape of You. Like not that kind of stuff, but like it's fast as that. Like to make it's super clear. You need to be super specific.
Right.
I'm specific, man.
He's so specific, man.
So what I liked about the debut album was that even though it is a folk record, it still felt a little like you guys experimented a little bit in sound, because like the beginning of the record was very folkish, and then throughout the towards the end, I've started to feel more of a rock band kind of thing, like especially you singing a little more.
Yeah.
Is that something that just naturally happened in the studio? Did you guys kind of have that mindset of creating it that way as well?
No, it just happened. But I think it's like old artists, like maybe especially that I've listened to. Like I was very inspired by Alanis Morissette when I was younger, and like I love Björk and all the and like we played around with like the minor to major. I listened to a lot of artists like Mars Volta like before. So it's just yeah.
Combination of everything you've heard in your life.
That's in the heart as well.
Right.
Not only the acoustic
Right.
guitar.
You're pulling from everything. Like,
Yeah, it's like there's we are.
I think that's it.
Yeah, but every song is like its own in a way.
Right.
Yeah, it you put the instruments on that it needs to become to become the soul of the song, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And what about your vocals? When you guys collaborate with the singing, like your voices sound great together. How do you guys, is one the lead singer and the other one is a backup? Like, does that not even matter in this band?
No, I think it started out as Maria wanted to, like, not wanted, but like she was the best, It's like, of course, you're the lead singer.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, exactly. But then, like, Maria just told me, like, why don't you sing sometimes, And I was like, yeah, why don't I? And then I was like, I think it was just a thing that I needed to, like, work on myself a little bit to feel comfortable doing it, Because I've been always behind everybody.
Yeah.
I started out as a drummer when I was 10, I've always been behind, like, the people, So now, but it feels natural now to be, like, singing and,
I'm glad I pushed you because I think he has a lovely voice.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, like I said, I love how your voices, blend in together. Now, because you kind of come from like a drumming background as well, like, do you also do a lot of like the instrumentations when you guys are recording? Do you guys do the instrumentations yourselves? Do you guys have other people doing it?
No, we do like 95% ourselves, and then sometimes I did this riff for the latest single we did, "Forgive Me, Friend." It was so hard. I wrote it in my head, and like this. It's gonna sound so good, like dun, 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 like, and I tried to play it, and I was like, "Fuck, I can't do this." Like, I'm a okay guitar player, but like that was too hard for me. So I was like trying. It didn't work. So I was like, "Hey man, can you help me out with this one?" And then my friend came and he helped me doing it. Yeah. So I have some time to practice now before we go live,
Right, exactly. Got to get ready for that headline tour. So, now that you kind of mentioned "Forgive Me, Friend," which is the latest single, is this part of the upcoming EP? Is this like a one-off to just have the fans like get ready for this upcoming record?
Yeah, it's part of the EP, but the other songs on the EP are a little bit different.
Yeah,
it is.
Okay.
And these songs are always going to be part of an album later.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is only the beginning.
You guys have already a lot going on, and you guys have a lot in mind already.
Yeah.
We always have. Like sometimes a song can be like in our head for like 2 years, and then we save it, and it's like, no, it's your.
Forgive Me, Friend was like, we didn't like produce it out before like 1 year or 1.5 years, because we just had it, and like we didn't feel ready for writing the lyrics, because like we just tried and like didn't feel right, and we like, let's put it down, and then we took it up.
Yeah, sometimes you have to save things. You don't have to do it like immediately.
Right.
It grows on you.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me more about "Forgive Me, Friend." Like, why did you guys choose to release this single as like kind of an introduction to this upcoming EP?
We love the song, and the EP. The song is called "Forgive Me, Friend," and the EP is like Telephone Wires. It's all about connections to people. Like, we're traveling a lot, and we're all over the place, and sometimes it's hard to keep your relationships like going.
Right.
So I think that was
we needed that.
We needed that song, and then we found Swedish Jam Factory, that the tap dancers.
Right.
And we were like, "You're so cool." Yeah.
We actually saw them on a TV show, like basically like what do you call it, like Americans Got Talent, but in Sweden. So we saw them on TV, like, because we were just like, what is it, zapping?
Yeah.
We zapping, and then they were like stood there and danced. We were like, "Oh my god, this is so cool! We need to do something with these guys." And then we called like our manager, like, "We need to do something," and
That's pretty cool.
and then it happened. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about like producer wise? Did you do the production for all your music? Do you guys actually work with other producers as well, or?
No, not on our own stuff. Sometimes I do collabs when we work with like for other artists, but like usually it's me and Maria that's produced the Smith and Thell things.
And is it the same with like co-writers? Do you guys have co-writers as well, or is just the two of you?
No.
95% no.
No, it's like we don't co-write a lot for our own things, but we're open. We're open like towards it.
Right.
Yeah.
Since we do that to other artists,
Yeah.
So we have like this mentality, like if somebody makes a great thing, we want to hear it,
Right.
of course. But
it's like a little bit like tricky to because we tried a few co-writes like before the album was like released,
Right.
and people are like, we met some people trying to like stuff lyrics down our throats, and to me it's like I become not the nicest person to be around.
No, but
so
I think
Good to know.
I actually think like our music should be about our feelings and our emotions, like, and if you could find people helping you doing that, then work with.
positive guy.
Yeah, but like no, but like if not, do it yourself, because we know what we want to say, and sometimes it just takes time,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's true, and especially because folk music. That's when people listen to folk music, it's something so personal, something that something you've lived, experienced, or whatever. Like I think it would feel unnatural if someone else wrote the lyrics for you, and then the feeling's not there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like the reason we have the band is because we need to write what's in our hearts and like what we lived through.
Right.
So it would be weird to have somebody else like sing them.
Like basically, like the whole the last album was like your whole life. like basically like for your whole like when you were like 10 to 25. So I mean,
I had a lot I had to
so now
had
we
to
need,
say then.
yeah. So now we need to wait 10 years and then we can write about those 10 years, you know. I'm just kidding.
3 kids and a divorce. It's gonna be called. No, I'm just kidding.
That's hard.
It's gonna be called LA Life.
It's like life in LA.
Yeah.
So you know, since the album was more personal to you, like how do you get vulnerable in the studio? I mean, fortunately, it's just the two of you guys working together, so you guys are comfortable with each other. But you know, knowing that there's an audience out there that's gonna listen to your music or gonna watch you guys, you know, perform it live. Like, how do you get comfortable doing that?
I mean, I actually thought it was hard, like when we released Soul Prince.
You were very emotional.
Yeah, I was
about
very
it,
emotional because I hadn't been writing in that way like before, and all of a sudden it just felt like my heart I needed to get those songs like out and those lyrics out. And then obviously you played like for the family. I played it for my sister. You know, my sister broke down and she's like, I don't know if I can listen, you know, to this. And then you're standing there like in front of an audience sometimes, and you know, our music can be very like upbeat in a way. And if you come across like people that don't listen as much to lyrics, they're like, yeah, I get so happy from your music. And I'm like,
so excited, I was dancing. Like,
ever listen to our lyric?
have you listened? This is like deep, dark depression. No, it's dark shit. No, so it's double feelings.
Yeah.
But I love playing in front of like our fans and our audience now because they're just the best.
Right.
Yeah.
How are you able to have dark lyrics with such a happy type of like sonic sound? How do you create something like that? I feel like that's difficult.
I don't know. I mean, I think like if the song gets too, in my opinion, like if the song gets too dark, like if the dark lyrics and dark production, it would never sound like us, you know. Because I think we're hopeful people, hoping like
There's a lot of scars.
I mean like a lot of scars and a lot of stuff that happened to us and to you, and like, but still we're hopeful of a better life, you know.
I also think that life isn't just like black or white. It's not like dark and super happy. It's always like going like up and down. And like since we're like artists, we're like emotional people, like our emotions go up and down all the time. So it just comes out in the music that it's mixed. It's not just dark and it's not just happy.
But I also think like the Statue, for an example, that was the most clear song to be like dark lyrics and then happy like sounding. But that was more like a victory song against like the theme, like against the pills that we talk about. So like I think that was a way to how do you say, like to handle those feelings in a way. Yeah,
it's like coming out on the other side of that and feeling like, I made it through. And like, of course, there's still sadness because you went through it, but you're very happy that you got out of it. So that's why the song sounds like that, I think.
But that, I mean, it was interesting that is like an anthemic kind of like we did it type of song, but you chose to put it in the beginning of the album instead of like towards the end or towards the middle. Like, why did you choose to start the record like that and then, you know, go down to like all the more serious topics?
Are you thinking about like Boiling Point and those?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Statue is a song from the past in a way, and Boiling Point was more in the like current.
So were you kind of lining up the songs like almost in order as like how they kind of happened?
Like some of them had to switch because we still wanted the album to flow and nicely, you know. But mainly it started with the past and it came to the future. Okay.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So I mean, you guys should do a video for every single song, so you can a package. So now that you guys, you know, perform these songs, do they still impact you the way that they did when you guys first wrote them, or do you feel like they don't hit you as hard as they used to?
They hit still hard.
I think it's like some days it hits you very hard, and some days you don't feel it at all. You know, like I think it's like if you do something a lot, you know, sometimes you just like wake up in the middle of something. Oh my God! Like you get something about the crowd, something about like how Maria sings it, something just like I think it's always different. You know, it's not the same all the time.
Yeah.
What do you say, Maria?
I think, yeah, for me it's always like emotional standing there, because you just you just like
You're exposed.
yeah, you're like naked, like hi, hi, this is me. Who are you?
Yeah.
You're not telling me anything about you.
You're just filming me with your phone.
So creepy.
Creepy people, leave the building. No, no, just kidding. But yeah, it's you're kind of exposed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's so nice to just get listened to.
Right.
Sometimes, you know, I think I've had that like through my life. I felt that I've not been like listened to maybe enough, and I guess that's why I needed music.
Right.
And then it's like there is those like magic moments when you stand on the stage, like just me and you, and just play an acoustic guitar, and it's silent, and everybody's like listening. It's really paying attention, and you just get to say it out. Say it out loud, you know. Yeah, and that's like therapy.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you guys feel was like the hardest lyric in Soul Prince? Is there one that kind of sticks out to you that just you know, you kind of didn't want to release it?
I think it's in Garden of Eden.
Is it?
Yeah. It's like the mother I never had. Yeah. Yeah.
Man. That's like that's like, I don't understand like how you can get so vulnerable like that. Like that, I would be scared to open up like that to an audience, like let alone to, you know, to the world like that. So that's, I mean, I commend that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
It's fantastic. Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah, I'm happy about that song. It's for me, and it's for my little sister that I love the most in the world. And she has her own, her totally own song on the new EP.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Named by her.
Oh man, that is awesome. That is awesome. So as we move forward to this new EP, like, do you feel like it's a part 2 or a continuation of the debut album?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we just go in deeper and deeper into the family, like now we starting to explain what like the family member name is, right?
They're
Like,
exposed.
3 albums from this, you're gonna know what we're eating. You know?
It feels like themes in music. It's like there's sometimes you think that there's only like 4 themes. There's like hate, no, not hate, but like there's love, there's like sadness, and there's like, you know, there's a few topics that's been that people write about, like missing someone, and, you know, these things. But there's so many like grades in that scale. Yeah, you can go on like love 3.75, and there's words and emotions that like glitch with each other that you can find so beautiful metaphors for. So like our past, I mean, I think we have 200 songs to write about the past. You mean you know, it's there's a lot of things to still find, and there's a lot of things like in the current life, just the people you see on the street, you know.
But also, like, your feelings also change about the situations that happen to you.
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, so like my father, he left me when I was 2, and then like he was away for 17 years. I didn't meet him, blah blah blah. And like for 10 years ago, I said like, oh, it's fine. But like now, like when I'm a little bit older, I'm like, fuck, how could you do that, man? You know, like you're crazy. You went and became a fucking monk. You know, he was a monk in a temple like for 7 years. Like, and this was like, when I was a little bit younger, I didn't understand fully, like, but now, like, when I'm getting older, I'm understand, like, if you're a father, you need responsibility, all this stuff, you know, like, so, like, the feelings change about the past, in my opinion, so it's always new stuff to write about, you know?
Wow, that's true. That's
amazing. Now, I mean, with you guys, like, working with other artists for their music, how does that kind of impact the way that you guys create your own?
I think that when we write our own things, we tend to just write situations like exactly like they are. Because you need to get those words.
There's like no sugarcoating at all.
No sugarcoating. And then with other artists, it's amazing to write for other artists, because then you're like the channel for them, and you get to experience things like through them. So I think that you become a very like empathic and like aware person, like sitting listening to people's stories, and not just thinking about you, you know.
That's actually true.
Yeah, That's incredible. I mean, it sounds like it's also like at the same time it's like a therapy session for you guys as you guys are like in the studio and writing and creating this new music. How soon can fans like maybe expect this new material to come out?
They can expect it in November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are ready to go.
Yeah.
just in time for the headline tour, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
So we're mixing it right now.
Okay.
And it can be November. It's gonna be
So the headline tour's been announced. It seems like there's a lot of excitement around it. What can fans expect for this headline tour? I mean, you guys are going big.
Yeah, we're scared. They can expect to see like Smith and Thell in the way that we want it to sound, and we want to like show ourselves,
right.
Because we've been playing a few shows like in Germany and everything, but we haven't done like this like produced up like shows yet,
right.
Like when we get to pick and choose like everything,
right.
from
all
sound to light to
Nice.
order, and just an hour that we really thought through. Yeah, so they can expect a lot of
Smith and Thell. And
expect us.
no, but I think it's gonna be really good, and I think we're so excited about this,
Yeah.
and the fans is gonna feel that we're excited about it, so they're gonna have a hell of a time.